When we're breathing, whether it's for a specific breathwork practice or just breathing in our everyday life, we want to make sure that we're breathing with our diaphragm. So I wanted to talk about this just a little bit. So we have a large muscle that is shaped like a parachute or like a jellyfish that sits under our rib cage. And when we inhale, that muscle contracts and pushes down into our abdomen. So a lot of times you'll hear people say belly breathe. But the one thing that I've noticed that when we talk about belly breathing is people think that they should push their abdomen or their belly out with their abdominal muscles to make their belly move, and that's not correct. What's happening is that because the diaphragm is contracting and pushing down into the abdomen, it's increasing the intra-abdominal pressure, and that gives just a very slight, hardly noticeable rise to the belly, and it should just be something that occurs naturally and not something that we're creating. So when we're breathing, the diaphragm is going to just gently contract, move down into the abdomen, and then when it releases or relaxes, it lifts back up under the rib cage. So when it contracts, it actually pulls on the lungs and creates this vacuum that pulls our inhale into our lungs. And then when it relaxes, it lifts back up and the air just releases out of our lungs. So the reason that this is important is because we can also do what's called chest breathing. And chest breathing means that we are using all of these additional muscles, our ribs, our collarbones, our shoulders, our back, and we breathe more shallowly when we breathe through our chest. We also tend to breathe more quickly. So this auxiliary type of breathing, chest breathing, comes into play when we're in stress, because what's happening is we are usually in a fight, flight, or freeze situation. That's how our body is reacting. And so our body is in its sympathetic nervous system, and we are breathing quick and fast, and the breathing happens up here in the chest. And that's not how we want to breathe in our everyday life or for most of our breathing practices. We want to be calm and slow and what we call deep breathing, meaning the air is being brought down into the lower portion of our lungs. Now there's a couple of reasons for this. One is that nerve receptors for our sympathetic nervous system are situated more in our upper lobes of our lungs. And so when we're chest breathing and breathing shallowly, then we are activating that parasympathetic nervous system more. Nerve receptors for our parasympathetic nervous system are rest, digest, relax, recover, restore. Those are situated more down in the lower lobes of our lungs. So when we are breathing and bringing air and using our diaphragm and coming down into the lower portion of our lungs, we're stimulating our parasympathetic nervous system, staying more calm and relaxed. So when we talk about do diaphragmatic breathing, remember it's about relaxing into the breath. It's not about trying to take the biggest, deepest breath that you can. It's not about trying to push the belly out. It's really about relaxing and letting the diaphragm just move gently and naturally within the body, and relaxing the chest, the shoulders, the neck, the upper back, and not using those auxiliary muscles when we're breathing.